when I saw a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie showing in theaters last year. I thought to myself, are people still interested in TMN 2023? What do they offer this time to make people want to watch it? Can they successfully gain new fans for the franchise? And wait, what's that? Produced by Seth Rogen, John Cena, Post Malone, Ice Cube, what is going on? From an outsider's point of view, I considered that TMA remained consistent throughout its many renditions since it was first created in 1984 as a comic created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. My first exposure to the Turtles was when I was around 3rd grade elementary school. I played this TMNT game on PlayStation 2, and it was fun. While causing chaos throughout the city, blowing up cars, swerving around the sewer, and beating up enemies while simultaneously lost to small, annoying, exploding robots is fun. I didn't follow the story of the Turtles outside of the game. Back then, I was having a hard time trying to differentiate the Turtles, not only because I was just a kid, skipping all the dialogues due to not understanding English well at the time, and without earlier context on who they were, but also between their similar character design in the game. And the only differentiating aspect being their color and their weapon, I was mostly confused but still loving the idea of it. And though I like the basic premise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I mean, what more could you ask for? That's literally so cool. Weirdly, it's somehow easier for me to relate to these turtles than to any superheroes that resemble humans like that from DC or Marvel. Since then, many renditions of TMNT have been created, and here's the list of the many comics, TV shows, and movies renditions. But let's shorten the list by only focusing on the box office movies, since it's more largely known and more accessible to larger audiences instead of the other formats. Take, for instance, these 3 movies, and let's focus on their character design from face value only, because I haven't watched any of it. Sorry. All of them have a very different design portrayal, and the way I see it, yes, their character design looks very cool. But somehow it didn't appeal to me back then when it was in the cinema. While it's no surprise that the Turtles are portrayed more like mutants to make them more of crazy strong superheroes, I felt like in some of these designs they don't look so teenagers, like they forgot about that aspect. And that's just my preferences from my memories of playing that game. That is, until after not hearing about TMNT for a very long time, I was pretty amazed at this new design and art style, and after seeing the discourse held on Twitter about this film, it somehow just helped piqued my excitement and interest more. After I watched the film, I thought to myself, why is this the only movie about TMNT that I was interested in watching? Is the character designer the only thing that seals the deal for me? The short answer is no, but it certainly does. Looking only at the posters, the character design screams fun, and it looks refreshing too. It looked unique and iconic to me. From the height differences, their slight but noticeable body shape difference, as well as the head shape, the belt with their initials, the nerdy glass that Donnie wore, down to their teeth with Raphael missing one front tooth from when he was a baby, and braces for Mikey, the stickers on Donnie's stick, the scar on Raphael's chest. I feel like the process of character designing probably was a fun one. Everything about these design decisions adds a lot to their character and individuality, thus also eliminating some difficulty in differentiating the Turtles. The movie's goal is clear. They wanted to bring fun into the cinema, and they did. After all, this is a Nickelodeon production, and their first scene makes it clear. As the Turtles embark on their mission to get Go-Gurt, Leo gets mocked for being too serious and Batman-like, cause why wouldn't they? They're just teens having fun. They have never been in a fight, though Splinter prepared them for it. So their innocence and young spirit are the main points of this film. The overall art style of this movie also gives a lot of the entertaining aspects. Many of the scenes and designs include hand-drawn, sketchy, scribble-like brush strokes, combining hand-drawn and CG animation styles that give it a more nostalgic take. For instance, this news screen, phone screen, the hair of Dr. Baxter, and many, many more that it's fun to notice throughout the film. It's also a reminder that being an animator or any creative person is fun and rewarding. Of course, this art style is similar to Spider-Verse as it has become revolutionary in the animation and cinema industry, and I love how it inspires and makes trends for other films. They also include another style throughout the film, like this hand-drawn doodles of them imagining what it's like to truly be a teenager attending school. The clips of real humans, if for instance. Human screening, it might seem random, but I don't mind. I think it's unique, like a mixed media kind of situation. I also love that they decided to cast actual teenagers to be their voice actors. Also, like any animated film, they tend to gather as many celebrities as they can. Like in this film, the voice actors are Nicholas Cantu as Aleo, also the voice of Gumball, Shaman Brown Jr. as Mickey Micah Abbey, as Donnie as Brady Noon as Ralph, and Jackie Chan as Giancarlo Esposito as Baxter Stockman, Maya Rudolph as Cynthia Utram, Ayo Edebri as April O'Neil, Jackie Chan as Splinter, Natasha Demetrio as Wingnut, Hannibal Buress as Genkai's Frog, Post Malone as Ray Fillet, Rose Byrne as Leatherhead B. Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko, Seth Rogen as Bebop, John Cena as Rocksteady, and Ice Cube as Superfly. Oh my god, that's a lot. But their character adds a lot too, and doesn't feel like just a filler for another celebrity spot for their marketing. So that's another plus point. And yeah, sometimes actors are hired for animation's voice acting, orally for their name. Then the audience gets disappointed for them not having a talent for voice acting. But in this case, even when the cast feels random and questionable to some, I don't feel like the voice actors are doing a bad job. It doesn't take away from the film, and it's not distracting. Most of the time, I don't even recognize their voices besides Ice Cube and April O'Neil, which I think they're perfect for the role. However, the story of how Splinter and the Turtles came to be is unlike the original. It's nice to know context on why and how they're born, and the story is just so cute. Like, look at them. This new backstory also gives it a chance for anyone to root for them and relate to them somehow. So even if this might be their first exposure, may lead to new viewers becoming new fans and exploring this franchise, I would say that the writing on this movie also is good. Their quote-unquote cringiness, their nerdiness, and their not accurate way of using popular slang, it's pretty on point on how teenagers really are, in my opinion. Not only this movie is already so fun both visually and content, but it is also funny from the dialogue to slapstick little movement. Their jokes are also funny. They might be not for everyone as they contain some context that might be largely lost on audiences outside America, but it's funny to catch it. Like, they're always occurring jokes about being milked, them talking about cars in the middle of a boss fight. Overall, I laughed any times and I enjoyed this movie very much. The words I would use to describe this film are fun, nostalgic, and cool. I basically knew nothing about TMNT's lore before, and it's nice to enjoy a part of the franchise without the feeling of being lost in the context. And Origin, the animation, is it's just a fun movie, and I hope that you're convinced to watch the movie now. That's it from me now. Be safe and farewell.